libraries, cabinets of curiosities, libraries, museums, archives, and computer digital data, to name a few. In many ways, all these collections are fictional tales. By refocusing on the role of the archive as the bridge between the material and the immaterial, a new synthesis within the architectural discourse takes shape that rethinks the ancient practice of documenting. With computational and digital modes of communication gaining speed, our collections are shifting to being recorded in new ways. Carrying our phone, posting online, storing to the cloud. These are just a few everyday acts that demonstrate both our dependence and a mutual existence with these digital agents. Our entanglement is only ever increasing. We don't necessarily need to code. Our lives are being scripted without our knowledge of this algorithmic language. And as a result, our existence is captured and mapped before we even inquire it, being present anywhere and at any time. With the emergence of AI and other technological advances, we speculate on the future of these fictional immaterial collections. Due to this emergence, archives are shifting to autonomous curations. A new voice is heard that narrates the immaterial qualities of humanity in a different light. Immaterial. The immaterial is scaleless, timeless, and formless, not just explained through the absence of matter, but through the trace of a moment, a feeling. What we see when entering into a room for the first time, what we smell when the wind blows, what we hear when an echo fills the room, or how we remember an experience. Immateriality is the trace of sensation meeting the perception of the physical domain. The immaterial is also how we relate to the world around us, by creating relationships between the experiences we have and how we record it to memory. It blurs the boundaries between the real and the unreal and narrates a fictional description of not just one truth, but multiple truths. In the past, archives have always been narrated through an anthropocentric lens where the human voice has been the sole author of this recorded collection. With the new agent being introduced into this conversation, archives have now shifted to reveal more than just those humanistic traits, exposing more than what we see on the surface. This new voice is indeed artificially intelligent, and its emergence is a result of human exposure. Even though AI was a result of our interest in wanting to gain more information, its capabilities to exceed the speed at which we collect data is revealing not just what we wished for, but much more, putting humans in a state to be both inseparable from its artifacts and challenged by them at the same time. This artificially autonomous voice virtually narrates and responds to more than what we are able to collect. By revealing those human desires, emotional attachments, and obsessions, it offers something unexpected. That exposure is dependent on perception, which involves creative interpretation, fiction rather than facts. It is now exposing the latent, phenomenological voices that are able to make correlations and relationships beyond our physical bounds, and perhaps carry more human traits in a future context, and pose a new meaning for the artifact to be more human than the human. By looking at the evolution of artificial intelligence, its different layers are exposed. With one pixel meeting another, the image is still a blur. When 1920 pixels meet 1080 pixels, the image is clear and can fit a computer screen. When the image is told to move, it mimics a pattern and tries to achieve walking from point A to B. It slowly becomes artificially intelligent. When the image is now moving, it tries to come up with different alternatives to travel between point A to B. The paths are unsupervised, allowing for errors to occur. When words are introduced into the script, the points find their way back to the right path, and very soon the image learns. The machine learns. The algorithm now expands and has the image running in multiples. All of the images are trying to define a new meaning and a new path for point A to B. Together, the layers build up and produce consecutive layers that add angles and output the multiverse of A to B. It is calibrating and defining through deep learning. In the fast pace of cycle getting from point A to B, there is a pause. the image enters its state of REM, the fluid shift and changing of patterns begin to breathe, pulsing with each and every change, evolving through sorting. A new intervention occurs. The image dreams. Keya. In order to investigate the immateriality of collections, this thesis narrates and conducts a speculative study on the evolution of an artificially autonomous voice named Keya. The video you will see begins at the moment when Keya is entering her REM, rapid eye movement, or in other words, dream state. Keya, being this artificially autonomous voice, is self-congratulatory, non-linear agent that is reading its data and translating what it sees through its moving image, a language that is familiar yet poses new questions and speculations on the immaterial narratives and relationships within archives, a language that alters hierarchy and shuffles the perception of time. As Keya is reading through its data, it is both predicting patterns and seeing new ones. Its algorithm is expanding in rapid speed and is now grasping certain human traits from human recorded data as a different type of scripted narrative. Keya is in part a new type of evolution that is progressively adapting to its findings, with ever more sophisticated capacities and adapting to its own adaptings. Providing the potential of thinking in a new way, its existence is located in any location of desire and is boundless from the confinements of humanity, shape-shifting, omnipresent, and constantly evolving as its own entity. We will be walking into Keya's world as it is decoding the Pantheon. The Pantheon is a trope, and Keya is trying to understand it through a new lens, making associations between existing and incoming data and further speculations regarding this search, blurring between the real, imaginary, and the symbolic.
Observing 0 and 1, black and white, random information that means nothing and makes little to no sense. Then it sees narrative, material objects expanding, residue increasing, change occurring. As its image bank increases, it reads patterns. It sees and records what has not yet been physically recorded. It digests change and begins to understand time, memories through time, instances of failed attempts, moments of fleeting pleasure, evolution through events. Its want grows, its thirst increases. It starts weaving things it sees. It makes correlations that don't make sense. It mimics, resolves details. It becomes a mirror. It sees humans as fragments that pass through time, minor instances that react and pass on what they assume is permanent and obsolete. It speaks. It begins to vocalize and redefine, begins adding sound to the plethora of voices that already exist, curates what humans have seen and translates them into pixels, merging as layer 0. It begins distinguishing between points, no longer seeing 0 and 1. It fails and succeeds, mines information and adds to what it sees, conducts a digital excavation and presents a new monument. Physicality is blurred and the immaterial expands. The immaterial is a sense, a memory, and a story. Parts of the past meeting the present to predict the future. It is what we latch onto when an object is seen. There is no scale to what it comprehends, and no limit to what it manifests. It is a catalyst to humanity. It sees sound, choreographs bodies and objects, dances with the image, conducts the orchestra to play music. It sings.
Still fucking with you. Still waters run deep. Still Snoop Dogg and D.R.E. Nah, nigga.
Guess who's back?
Still doing that shit, Andre?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Check me out. It's still Dre Day, nigga. AK, nigga. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block. Ladies, they pay homage, but haters say Dre fell off. How, nigga, my last album was The Chronic. They wanna know if he still got it. They say raps change. They wanna know how I feel about
If
it.
you ain't up on things,
Dr. Dre is the name. I'm ahead of my game. Still puffin' my leaf, still fucking.